Hey guys, what's up? Vero here. So I wanted to do a video kind of talking about Mist of Pandaria as a whole and kind of my thoughts on the expansion, things that I liked, things that I didn't like, kind of that sort of thing. So I'm just kind of jump right into it. I was able to start playing Mist of Pandaria as soon as it dropped. I don't really remember much about it except that it was really hard to quest because there were so many people. Thankfully this was when I was on a lower pop server, so it made it a little bit easier. And I remember just slowly grinding my way to 90. The leveling process just was too long. It took forever. I'm so glad that they nerfed it, and I'm so glad that supposedly it's going to be a lot easier in Warlords of Draenor to level up from 90 to 100. So I'm looking forward to that part, at least. Not so much the leveling part, but seeing how long it actually takes. Another thing that I really didn't like were the dailies. I think that was kind of a thing that very few people enjoyed. I'm not very much into doing a repetitive thing. I get bored very easily, and having to do these dailies just made me not want to play. I felt like I had to do them because I felt like I needed this gear, and I felt like I had to do it because I needed the stuff that was gated behind my professions. But at the same time, I didn't want to do it. It just took too long, and it was just so boring, and a lot of my rep on a lot of my characters, hit the camera. A lot of my professions on my, a lot of the rep on a lot of my main characters weren't actually completely exalted until they ended up releasing the Warbringers, which I was really excited that they did that, and I hope they do kind of something similar, because I got to the point where I could solo those and get the mounts even as a healer, and that was kind of nice, not gonna lie. A couple months after Warlords released, I ended up leveling my druid up to 90. This was when she was still Horde and I was still on Ysera, and some friends wanted me to move over to Darkspear Alliance side, and I said sure, and so I did that sometime in November, I think, and I ended up kind of falling in love with PvP and doing arena with friends, and I ended up not raiding because originally the guild that I was supposed to raid with, none of the people came back except for like 3 of us, and there weren't really any guilds on the server that were really raiding or any that I really wanted to raid with. So I kind of just PvP'd and hung out and, did whatever. Eventually I did end up leveling some alts, Horde and Alliance, blah blah blah. I also ended up joining a guild on my mage because they really needed some DPS, leveled her to 90, geared her up, went into the raids, and I went actually into their 10-man, which was a little bit... The people in the 10-man were a lot better than the people in the 25-man, to be blunt, and I ended up raiding with them on my mage in the 10-man, doing heroics and stuff, and normals and getting gear and stuff, and they kept commenting that like my DPS wasn't really where it should be, and I was just kind of like, I'm not really big into being a DPS character. I just did it because you guys needed something. And eventually I told the GM that I didn't want to raid with them anymore. I just wasn't enjoying 25-man. It was just really aggravating when you would log on to raid and people would just be standing in everything and they would die, and it was just so frustrating. And I told them that something that I prefer to do is heal. But they have healers. But eventually, a healer decided that they were okay with going DPS, and so I leveled up my other priest, which is the one that I actually raid on now, and I ended up playing that, and the guild ended up falling apart, and those guys that were in the 10-man ended up making a new 10-man guild, and they ended up asking me to join. Long story short, I ended up doing that. I did all of TOT, I was still PvPing, Alliance side, I had like another priest that I leveled, I had all these 90s, and eventually I joined another guild and raided with them, and I didn't really like them either because we merged with them and they just weren't that good. And then now I'm in Premeditated on Storm Rage. The majority of my characters are Alliance now, which, but I'm wearing my Alliance hoodie, so that's ripping the Alliance. I promise never do that again. So I think as a whole, I did a lot in Mist of Pandaria. I did PvP, I did raiding, I did heroic raiding, I did mythic raiding, I did all these different things within just a few years of this expansion, and I had fun with it. I still think the Pandarin thing was kind of cheesy, although I kind of like the pandas. I don't have any characters that are pandas. I thought about maybe moving another character over and maybe making them a panda, but I don't know yet. I feel like the tiers themselves, I didn't start until Heart of Fear, I think. So I think probably my favorite tier for this expansion, I actually really like TOT. I feel like there's a lot of good fights in there. Some of the ones that I really liked were probably Darumu, because on LFR it's really funny. I really like the Lei Shen fight. I really like those end raid bosses that are just, you can tell that they put a lot of thought into the mechanics. You can tell that they put a lot of thought into the dynamic of the raid and the dynamic of everything that happens. I don't know, it was fun, and I really liked killing Garrosh on Heroic. That was probably like the highlight of Mist of Pandaria for me, was joining a guild, and the first time ever killing a raid end game boss when it was current, which was pretty freaking nice. So my hopes for Mist of Pandaria. What expansion are we in again? So my hopes for Warlords of Draenor is no dailies, please. But I know the garrison is going to be a little bit of a grind. I feel like that's going to be a little bit more interesting than what dailies were. I'm kind of excited for this expansion to drop and just kind of hit the ground running and go into it. We got like new character models, and I can't wait till they like redo the Blood Elves. And I'm so ready to just like jump in and get leveled and start raiding in a couple weeks and just kind of go into this expansion like balls to the wall and just have fun with it, and PvP and PvE, and just do everything I can do in this game and hope that I don't go crazy or want to quit. So let me know about your experience with Mist of Pandaria. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is it like your least favorite expansion? I would probably say it's my least favorite expansion as like a lore standpoint and as just in general. Maybe I'll make another video talking about my specific favorite expansion if anybody's actually interested. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts on Mist of Pandaria. What were things that you liked about it? What were things that you disliked about it? And are you ready for Warlords? But thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. And be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that either. And I will talk to you guys later. Hope you're having a great day, and goodbye.